Unit 2.03, it's time to explore the Inkscape workspace. So the first thing you're going to do is open Inkscape. You can pause this if you like the written directions. I'm just going to go right down to the bottom of my screen, my Explorer Inkscape. And when I type that in, you'll notice that it comes up here. It's already highlighted in blue. I can hit enter, or I can just click on that. It's going to open Inkscape for me. Here's how it looks. All right, so let's go through and see what we've got. First, it says we can maximize the Inkscape window. So here is your minimize and your maximize. So if it's not filling up the whole workspace and you want it to, you can just click that maximize button. If you want to minimize it again, now it's down here on my menu bar, so I have to click on it. If I click on this restore down, that maximize button has become a restore button. I can actually just grab the corners and rescale that how I want. Now, I know that in the text it said Inkscape doesn't use a lot of your computer's working memory or RAM, random access memory, but it really does, especially if I'm trying to make a video. So I constantly have to save. So the very first thing I want you to do whenever you open Inkscape is go File, Save As. Now remember, in Unit 1 we made a digital arts folder, so you need to click and find that. Where did you save yours? I do mine in pictures, and I've got my digital arts sample folder here, right? So I can just give this a name. I'm going to call this Unit 2.03, Exploring Inkscape. Okay. But remember, one of the things I told you is that I always want you to have your name on your paper, right? So at the beginning, you're going to put your name. Okay. So your first and last name, the name of whatever it is that you're doing. Now, right here it says save as, and it's telling you it's going to save it as an Inkscape file with the extension .svg for scalable vector graphics, okay? So if you are feeling lost right now, maybe you didn't do Unit 1 and you need to go back and do Unit 1. All right, so now that I have it saved, I can see the name of my file up here, and now I can just go in and go save, or hit Control S. The shortcuts are on the right every single time that it starts to freeze up on me. Okay, so let's look at the parts of the workspace. We have a menu bar up at the top. That's where you find your file, edit, view, layer, object, path, text, filters, extensions, and help. We've got a command bar underneath that. Which on mine is not on the top. My command bar is over on the right hand side. So, and if you click that, there are more commands that aren't listed there. So be aware that your command bar might not be in the same location as it is in the K-12 content. Your toolbox is over on the left, and we've talked about those. You can hover your cursor over those and you can see the names of those tools. You've got your tool controls bar, and that's going to change for each of the different tools that you pull up. So with my pointer, which is also called the select and transform, I'm going to have all of these different options, right? But if I change my tool to, let's say, create rectangles and squares, you'll notice that my options change. I've got a fill and stroke up here. I can decide what color I want to fill it with, what I want my outline or stroke to be. And remember the palette down there. Yeah, that's kind of like replicated up here. So pause the video and click through the different tools and then just see how the controls change and the options that you have. Okay, you have a snap bar over to the right that talks about the way that the object will snap to, or just like a magnet, connect to other objects. If your objects are snapping and it's annoying you, just click on that snap and so that it's not selected. There's the shortcut, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. It might be like Shift 5 or something like that. Once I'm in there and I need to unsnap, I'll let you guys know what it is. I can't remember it, and I just did a Google search and everybody's pulling up this option. Canvas, it's the drawing area, the square rectangular area in the middle of the page, okay? So there is a really easy shortcut on your keyboard at the top, not on your number pad, but at the top, if you hit the number 5, it will enlarge your canvas here so that it automatically fits into the screen. I love that. 5. We've talked about the color palette. If you draw a shape, you have whatever I was last using, that's what it's going to fill it in with. So it's got the fill as this magenta color and the stroke as this blue color. I can change the fill just by clicking on any of these in the color palette, and I can change the stroke by holding down Shift as I click. And if I don't want fill, I can click the X. And if I don't want a stroke, I can hold down Shift and click the X. So that's going to create a problem for you the next time you go to draw something and you're panicking and you're like, there's nothing on my page. Just click a color at the bottom and hold down Shift and click there. If you can't see your stroke, go into your fill and stroke, which is under Object, Fill and Stroke, if it's not coming up, or you might have it kind of locked over to the side. If I go like this, you'll notice that my fill and stroke box becomes kind of a shortcut. I can click that back open, go to stroke style, and increase the width. It's at 6 right now, so it's really thick. That's why you can see it. But if it's at like 0.2, you can't see that. So you might have to increase it so that you can see your stroke. Rulers are the lines and numbers running along the top and left sides of the canvas. As you move the mouse, tiny arrows will be moving along with it to show you exactly where the mouse pointer is on the canvas. The default ruler measurement is in inches. You can use rulers to place things exactly where you want them on the canvas. Save your project. It's important to save your project files regularly. If you don't save your files, you could lose important information if your computer stops working or if you accidentally close out of your program. You should save your Inkscape project whenever you've made a few changes. You should also save it before you close Inkscape. You'll learn how to save project. We already did that. Let's take a look at the pencil tool, which is this tool right here that looks like a pencil, not the one that looks like a pen. Okay, so you're going to draw lines. If you need to pause and read the steps, you can. You'll select the pencil tool, you'll move your cursor, click and drag to draw a line, release the mouse button to end the line. Note that the line has handles at either end. This style of line can be any shape that you want. So I'm going to grab my pencil and I'm just going to go ahead and start drawing. There we go. I want to increase my stroke style. Okay, I don't like how jaggedy it is. Look at the tool options that I have. Smoothness is only set at 4. What if I set my smoothness to like 24? Let's see. Try to remember what the magic number was. Let's try 24 for smoothness. Sorry, I think mine froze, so I'm going to click save. Okay, it's not liking me. I'll go 25. Let me draw a new line. Ooh, that one looks much better. I'm going to increase the stroke. It's not quite as jaggedy. Okay, let's move this up to like 40. Just going to grab that and move that. Okay, let's draw another one. Oh, that is so smooth. I love that. Increasing my style. So folks, can you see how your smoothness is really, really, really important? The higher I go on smoothness, okay, let's, and you can just click this select and transform, and you can draw a square around anything that you want to delete, and then just hit your delete button once they're selected so you can have some more room on your canvas. Select that pencil tool, and oh, it's just gorgeous. Look at those beautiful, lovely curves that you can make. Just wanted to point out that the higher you have the smoothness, notice how I'm drawing all these details. It's pulling out all that detail of my curves. So find a nice smoothness where it actually will replicate what you're doing. Okay, if you want to draw a dot, you have to hold down Control and then click, okay? So let's practice. Control, click. There's a dot. Control, click. Dot, 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 dot. You have to hold down Control. Okay, make some dots. Click Save. Okay, let's, I don't know if I actually was holding, if I had, control is to make dots. I just noticed that my video was still going. So just in case, control is clicking and holding control will make dots. Okay, so if you want to draw straight lines, you're just going to click anywhere and release, move your cursor, and you'll notice that you have this little pink line that's following you around, and then click to create your endpoint. Okay, I'm going to increase the thickness of that stroke. So bing, you can do that anywhere. Now, let's say you want it to be perfectly vertical. Hold down control and you'll notice that it snaps at 15-degree increments. So you can get a perfectly horizontal line, or you can start here again. You can get a perfectly vertical line. Okay, so practice that. Go back to your original start point and pull that out. Hold down shift and do a series of 15-degree increments by holding down, whoops, that just made a dot, by holding down control and snapping. I don't think that second one was snapped right. I had to hold down control. There it is. Hold down control, click, release, hold down control, snap it to the place. Okay, so there was one on there that wasn't in the right place. I believe that was this one right here. Which one was it? That was not 15 degrees. I think it was that one. I'm going to hit delete. Okay, so that one's gone, but I have to put this one back. Hold down control, boom. So now I've got perfect 15-degree increments, just like, wow. It's just like, you know, algebra or something, or geometry, you know, where you are doing the 4 quadrants. Beautiful, on the Cartesian coordinate system. And here's those directions if you need written directions, and pause the video for how to do those controlled line angles. Okay, so let's just say that you are trying to draw some line and it's just not where you want it to be, and you're like, stop, I don't want to make a line. Just hit escape. Escape will stop it. Okay, escape. Works every time. Also, you could just be bold and finish the line and then take your pointer, your select tool, and once it's selected, you can just hit delete and it'll go away. You've got a zoom tool here, and you can pause the video and read about the zoom tool, but essentially, if you click on it, you've got a plus or a minus up here in your options. That means every time I click, it's going to zoom in if I have plus selected, or if I have minus selected, which I need to click save because my RAM's not working. Then every time, every time I click on that, it's going to zoom out. So I think if I change, if I hold down shift, it'll change my little zoom tool to a minus and zoom me out. And if I just don't hold anything down, it is automatically a plus when I click on it. One of the coolest ways to zoom in on something is to just click and drag around something, and then it zooms in around that area. So if I just wanted to zoom in on those 2 points, boom, I just click and drag around it. Okay, and you'll notice as we zoomed in, just like I said, there's no pixels. So cool. So if you want to go back to viewing just your normal canvas size, do you remember that shortcut I told you? 5. Boom. 5. It's the magic number. And it will pop your canvas right back into full view.